I'm just in Los Feliz with my friend Barry, and we've just had a serious accident. My friend Barry's in an ambulance right now.
Now that everybody's gone, I've employed a clever disguise.
Barry Weiss, the eccentric collector from Storage Wars, captivated audiences with his knack for uncovering hidden treasures and making each auction an unforgettable adventure. But why did he abruptly disappear after season 4? What led him to step away from fame at the height of his career? Join us as we delve into the untold story of Barry Weiss, revealing a side of him you've never seen before. Roots and the making of a collector. Barry Weiss, the man who would later become known as the Collector, was born on February 11, 1951, in the bustling city of Los Angeles, California. Growing up in a middle-class Jewish family, Barry's early life was shaped by the vibrant culture and diverse influences of the City of Angels. His father, Barry Weiss, was an entrepreneur with deep roots in the music industry, working as a record executive and rubbing elbows with the stars of the day. Barry's connection to the entertainment world undoubtedly had an impact on young Barry, exposing him to a realm of creativity and business savvy from an early age. But it wasn't just his father's influence that would shape Barry's path. From a tender age, he developed a keen fascination with collecting antiques and unique items. While other children were content with toys and games, Barry found himself drawn to the thrill of the hunt, scouring flea markets, garage sales, and auctions for hidden treasures. He had an uncanny eye for spotting the extraordinary among the ordinary, and his passion only grew stronger with each passing year. By the time he reached his teenage years, Barry's collection had become the stuff of legend among his friends and family. At the age of 15, he earned the nickname The Collector, a title that would stick with him for the rest of his life. His room was a veritable museum of curiosities, filled with vintage cars, rare books, historical artifacts, and countless other items that spoke to his eclectic tastes and insatiable curiosity. Barry's path to success. Recognizing the importance of a solid educational foundation, Barry set his sights on higher learning. In 1981, he graduated from the prestigious Cornell University in New York, earning a degree in business. But he didn't stop there. Driven by a desire to further hone his skills, he enrolled at New York University in 1986 to pursue a Master of Business Administration. Armed with his MBA, Barry was ready to take on the business world. He wasted no time in putting his education to use, starting a wholesale produce business called Northern Produce. For the next 20 to 25 years, he immersed himself in the world of fruits and vegetables, building a successful company that would become a major player in the industry. But even as he found success in the produce business, Barry never lost sight of his true passion. He continued to collect antiques and unique items, using his business acumen to turn his hobby into a lucrative side hustle. He had a keen eye for spotting undervalued treasures, and he knew how to turn a profit on even the most obscure finds. Over the years, Barry's reputation as a collector and businessman grew. He became known as a man who could find value in even the most unlikely places, and his expertise was sought after by collectors and dealers alike. But despite his success, Barry never lost touch with his roots. He remained grounded in the values of hard work and perseverance that had been instilled in him from a young age. Transition to storage unit auctions. As Barry Weiss's expertise in collecting unique items, rarities, and antiques grew, so did his thirst for new adventures. It was in the late 1990s that he stumbled upon a novel avenue to indulge his passion: storage unit auctions. These auctions offered a tantalizing opportunity to acquire a diverse array of items, often at bargain prices. For a seasoned collector like Barry, it was a treasure trove waiting to be explored. Armed with his keen eye and extensive knowledge, Barry began attending storage unit auctions regularly. He soon realized his expertise gave him a significant edge in this field. While others saw mere junk and clutter, Barry had an uncanny ability to spot the hidden gems that lay buried beneath the surface. He knew the value of things that others might overlook, and he used this knowledge to his advantage. As Barry began to buy more and more storage units, his collection grew at an astonishing rate. He acquired an eclectic mix of items, from vintage automobiles and rare antiques to historical artifacts and pop culture memorabilia. Each new find was a thrilling addition to his ever-expanding treasure trove, and his reputation as a collector par excellence began to spread. But what set Barry apart from other buyers was his approach to the items he acquired. While most people in the storage auction business were focused on making a quick profit, Barry had a different philosophy. He preferred to keep the treasures he found, rather than selling them off to the highest bidder. For him, the value of these items lay not just in their monetary worth, but in their historical and cultural significance. This approach allowed Barry to build a truly remarkable collection over the years. His warehouses became a veritable museum of curiosities, filled with one-of-a-kind items that spoke to his eclectic tastes and insatiable curiosity. He became known as an expert in the field, sought after by collectors and enthusiasts alike for his knowledge and his uncanny ability to unearth hidden treasures. But even as his collection grew, Barry never lost sight of the thrill of the hunt. He continued to attend storage unit auctions regularly, always on the lookout for that next great find. He had a sixth sense for knowing which units were worth bidding on, and his intuition rarely led him astray. As word of his exploits spread, Barry began to attract the attention of others in the collecting world. His unique approach and his incredible finds made him a legend in the field, and it wasn't long before he caught the eye of television producers looking for the next big thing in reality TV. Rise to fame on Storage Wars. In 2010, Barry Weiss's life took an unexpected turn when he was approached by the producers of a new reality TV show called Storage Wars. The show's premise was simple: follow a group of professional buyers as they bid on abandoned storage units, hoping to find valuable items they could resell for a profit. The producers had heard about Barry's reputation as a collector and his success in the storage auction world, and they knew he would be perfect for the show. At first, Barry was hesitant. He had never sought the spotlight, preferring to pursue his passion for collecting in relative obscurity. But the producers were persistent, and eventually, Barry agreed to be part of the show's original cast. Little did he know this decision would change his life forever. From the moment Storage Wars aired, Barry was a breakout star. Viewers were drawn to his unique style, his sharp wit, and his incredible knowledge of all things collectible. His trademark look, complete with stylish shades and black gloves, became instantly recognizable, and his catchphrases, "This is a big boy," and "The fun starts here," became fan favorites. But it wasn't just Barry's personality that made him a star. He also had an uncanny ability to spot valuable items in even the most unassuming storage units. Whether he was unearthing a vintage Triumph motorcycle or a collection of rare Hummels, Barry always seemed to know exactly what he was looking for. His fellow cast members were often left in awe of his finds, and viewers couldn't get enough of his treasure-hunting exploits. As the show's popularity grew, so did Barry's fame. He became a household name, recognized and beloved by millions of fans around the world. He was invited to appear on talk shows and at conventions, where he would regale audiences with stories of his most memorable finds and his love for the thrill of the hunt. But even as his star rose, Barry remained grounded. He never forgot his roots as a collector and an antique enthusiast, and he continued to approach each new storage unit with the same excitement and passion that had driven him from the beginning. For Barry, Storage Wars wasn't just a TV show. It was an opportunity to share his love for collecting with the world and to inspire others to embrace the thrill of the hunt. Memorable moments and discoveries on Storage Wars. Throughout his time on Storage Wars, Barry Weiss had no shortage of memorable moments and incredible discoveries. His love for collectibles and his skill in bidding on storage units made for some truly unforgettable television, and his finds often left viewers and his fellow cast members in awe. One of Barry's most impressive finds came early in the show's run when he stumbled upon a vintage 1947 Harley-Davidson knucklehead motorcycle. The bike was in rough shape, but Barry knew he had struck gold. He bought the unit for just $700, and after some careful restoration work, the motorcycle was appraised at a staggering $24,000. Another memorable moment came when Barry unearthed a collection of rare and valuable Hummel figurines in a seemingly innocuous storage unit. He had purchased the unit for just $700, but as he and his team began to sort through the contents, they realized they had stumbled upon a treasure trove. The Hummels, some of which dated back to the 1950s, were in pristine condition and highly sought after by collectors. In the end, Barry estimated that the collection was worth upwards of $40,000. Not a bad return on his initial investment. But it wasn't just the monetary value of his finds that made Barry's moments on the show so memorable. He also had a knack for unearthing items with incredible historical and cultural significance. In one episode, he discovered a collection of rare World War II memorabilia, including a German Luftwaffe officer's dagger and a Japanese katana sword. These items, while not necessarily valuable in a monetary sense, held immense historical importance and spoke to Barry's deep appreciation for the past. Perhaps most impressive of all was Barry's daring approach to bidding on storage units. While other buyers might have been hesitant to take risks, Barry was known for his bold and unconventional strategies. He would often bid on units sight unseen, relying on his intuition and his deep knowledge of collectibles to guide him. This approach led to some of his most incredible finds, but it also meant that he occasionally ended up with units that were less than stellar. Regardless of the outcome, however, Barry always approached each new unit with the same sense of excitement and anticipation. For him, the thrill of the hunt was as important as the actual finds themselves. He loved the challenge of sorting through the contents of a unit, never knowing what treasures might be lurking just beneath the surface. Through it all, Barry's extensive knowledge of collectibles was on full display. Whether he was discussing the finer points of classic car restoration or waxing poetic about the history of rare coins, Barry's passion for his craft was evident in every episode. He wasn't just a buyer, he was a true expert, with a deep understanding and appreciation for the items he collected. Personality and entertainment value. Barry Weiss's success on Storage Wars wasn't just due to his incredible finds and his expertise in the world of collectibles. It was also thanks in large part to his larger-than-life personality and his uncanny ability to entertain audiences. From the moment he first appeared on screen, it was clear that Barry was a force to be reckoned with, both in the storage unit and in front of the camera. One of Barry's most endearing qualities was his quick wit and his irreverent sense of humor. He had a way of cutting through the tension of a high-stakes auction with a well-timed one-liner or a playful jab at his fellow cast members. His catchphrases became instant fan favorites, and his ability to keep things light and lively made even the most stressful moments on the show feel like a game among friends. But Barry's humor wasn't just for show. It was a reflection of his genuine love for life and his unflappable spirit in the face of adversity. Whether he was dealing with a disappointing unit or a fierce bidding war, Barry always managed to keep a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye. His positive attitude was infectious, and it helped create a sense of camaraderie among the cast and crew that was palpable on screen. Of course, Barry's personality also had a competitive side. He was a formidable opponent in the storage unit, with a keen eye for value and a willingness to take risks that often paid off big. His bidding style was unconventional, to say the least. He was known for his outlandish tactics, like wearing disguises or bringing along mysterious advisors to help him make decisions. But despite his unorthodox approach, there was no denying that Barry was a force to be reckoned with when it came to scoring the best units. Perhaps most impressive of all was the way that Barry managed to maintain his unique brand of entertainment value even in the face of stiff competition. The world of storage unit auctions is notoriously cutthroat, with buyers often resorting to dirty tricks and underhanded tactics to gain an edge. But Barry never stooped to that level. He remained true to himself and his values, even as he went head-to-head with some of the most ruthless buyers in the business. That's not to say Barry was a pushover, of course. He could give as good as he got when it came to trash talk and mind games. But even when he was locked in a fierce bidding war, there was always a sense that Barry was playing a different game than his opponents. For him, the thrill of the hunt was just as important as the actual win, and he never lost sight of the fact that, at the end of the day, it was all just a bit of fun. departure from Storage Wars and spin-offs. Despite his popularity and his undeniable star power, Barry Weiss's time on Storage Wars was relatively short-lived. After 4 seasons as a main cast member, Barry made the decision to leave the show in 2013. The news came as a shock to fans who had come to love Barry's unique brand of humor and his incredible knack for uncovering hidden treasures. At the time, Barry was characteristically tight-lipped about his reasons for leaving. Some speculated that he had grown tired of the grind of filming and the constant travel that came with being on a hit TV show. Others wondered if there had been a falling out with producers or with his fellow cast members. But in later interviews, Barry set the record straight. He had simply decided that it was time to move on while the show was still at the height of its popularity. "I had a blast," Barry said of his time on Storage Wars. "It was fun, but I had enough and I kind of wanted to leave while it was still popular." Despite his departure from the main show, however, Barry was far from done with the world of storage unit auctions. In 2014, he starred in his own spin-off series, Buried Treasure, which followed him as he traveled the country in search of rare and valuable collectibles. The show ran for 8 episodes, but despite Barry's star power and the promise of more incredible finds, it ultimately failed to catch on with audiences in the same way that Storage Wars had. Undeterred, Barry returned to television later that same year with another spin-off, Storage Wars: Barry Strikes Back. This time, the focus was on Barry's life outside of the storage unit, as he worked to build his brand and expand his business ventures. The show lasted 10 episodes, but again, it struggled to find the same level of success as its predecessor. Despite these setbacks, however, Barry remained a beloved figure in the reality TV world. His unique personality and his incredible knowledge of all things collectible had made him a true original, and fans continued to follow his adventures even after he had left the spotlight of Storage Wars behind. Motorcycle accident and recovery. In April 2019, Barry Weiss's life took a devastating turn when he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident in Los Angeles. The crash, which also involved Barry's friend and fellow motorcycle enthusiast Jamie, occurred when a car pulled out of a parking space and collided with their bikes. The impact was severe, and both Barry and Jamie were rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The extent of Barry's injuries was staggering. He had suffered massive trauma to his chest and legs, including multiple fractures and internal injuries that required extensive surgery to repair. He was placed in the intensive care unit, where he remained in critical condition for several weeks as doctors worked around the clock to save his life. As news of the accident spread, fans around the world held their breath and hoped for the best. Many took to social media to express their shock and their support for Barry and his family during this difficult time. But as days turned to weeks and there was no news of Barry's condition, rumors began to circulate that he had succumbed to his injuries. Fortunately, these rumors proved to be unfounded. After a grueling 3-month stay in the hospital, during which he underwent multiple surgeries and an intensive rehabilitation program, Barry was finally released to continue his recovery at home. But the road ahead would be long and difficult, and he knew he had a tough fight ahead of him. Despite the severity of his injuries, however, Barry remained characteristically upbeat and optimistic throughout his recovery. He credited his positive attitude and his unwavering faith in God with helping him through the darkest days of his ordeal, and he refused to let the accident define him or limit his future prospects. In the months that followed, Barry threw himself into his recovery with the same tenacity and determination that had made him a star on Storage Wars. He worked tirelessly with physical therapists and rehabilitation specialists to regain his strength and mobility, and he set his sights on getting back to doing what he loved most, collecting rare and valuable treasures. The road to recovery was not without its challenges. The accident took tremendous toll on Barry's body, and he knew that he might never fully regain the same level of physical ability that he had enjoyed before the crash. But true to form, Barry refused to let this setback define him. He adapted to his new limitations with grace and humor, and he continued to pursue his passions with the same enthusiasm and zest for life that had always been his trademark. Back in action, triumphant return to Storage Wars. Just when fans thought they had seen the last of Barry Weiss on Storage Wars, the unthinkable happened. In November 2021, more than 8 years after his initial departure from the show, Barry made a triumphant return to the world of storage unit auctions. The news sent shockwaves through the collecting community and left fans around the world buzzing with excitement. For Barry, the decision to return to Storage Wars was not one that he took lightly. He had spent the better part of a decade pursuing other ventures and living life on his own terms, and he knew that returning to the high-stakes world of reality TV would be a major undertaking. But in the end, the lure of the hunt proved too strong to resist, and Barry found himself back in the thick of things, bidding on units and uncovering hidden treasures with the same passion and expertise that had made him a star. Of course, Storage Wars was just one of many ventures Barry pursued in the years following his motorcycle accident. He also appeared in several documentaries that showcased his love for collecting and his incredible knowledge of all things rare and valuable. In Motorcycle Mania 3, Barry shared his passion for vintage bikes and his impressive collection of classic motorcycles. In Beverly Hills Garage, The Bruce Meyer Project, he offered a behind-the-scenes look at the world of high-end car collecting and the incredible vehicles that he had amassed over the years. Private and reserved, the inner circle of Barry Weiss. There is more to Barry than just his business ventures and collecting pursuits. Family has always played a central role in his life, and he has maintained close ties with his loved ones throughout the years. His brother, Jerry Weiss, has been a constant presence in his life, holding a prominent position as an executive at Warner Brothers Television. Jerry's influence has undoubtedly had an impact on Barry's own foray into the entertainment world, providing him with valuable insights and connections. Barry has also experienced his share of personal ups and downs. He was married for over 30 years, but the relationship ultimately didn't last. While details about his ex-wife remain private, Barry has spoken openly about the challenges of balancing family life with his busy career. Despite the end of his marriage, he remains a devoted father to his 2 children, Julie and Jack, who have been a constant source of joy and pride in his life. In recent years, Barry has embraced a more low-key lifestyle. He enjoys the simple pleasures of living alone, finding solace in his collections and the quiet moments of introspection. But Barry is far from a recluse. He has a wide network of friends and associates, and he is known for his genial nature and infectious enthusiasm. With a net worth estimated at over $10 million, he has the means to pursue his passions on a grand scale, living a life of luxury and adventure that most could only dream of. He may have faced his share of challenges and setbacks over the years, but through it all, he has remained true to himself and his passions, living life on his own terms and inspiring countless others to follow in his footsteps. As he enters the next chapter of his incredible journey, there is no doubt that Barry will continue to surprise, delight, and amaze us all with his incredible finds and his unparalleled zest for life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.